additional to the other video is I've cut out this piece of wood. I don't know what the dimensions are. It's big enough for the stove. I also have the extension legs that raise up the stove, which is good for me since I'm 6'8". It's just a regular piece of wood that I wrapped in high heat reflective tape. It bounces the heat up, keeps it from sinking into the snow, because right now we're on about 6 feet of snow. Then underneath that I have the burn mat, so if any of the sparks fall out or big chunks of burning wood, you can just grab it, throw it back in. It doesn't burn. It's really useful. Got my ash bucket. Scrape out every once in a while and go dump the ash outside. And underneath all that, can't really tell, but so we got the wood, the mat, then I've got wool blankets. They're fire blankets, and then under that I've got 5/8 inch foam tiles you can get from ice fishing, and under that I've got a silver tarp. So I've been here 7 days and it's really held up nice and level. Well, level-ish. It is sinking a little bit in this area because that's where I walk a lot, but very happy with this season, especially since I got these power supply X Pro battery packs, charge stuff. Most importantly, since I'm an old dude, I got to bring a CPAP. So exciting. But it's powered that, and I've been able to sleep better than I ever have up here for years, because I get oxygen and I don't choke myself with my damn tongue. Good times. Of course, you got the poker tool, which I use quite a bit. Damper. You can have it various stages of operation. These handles, they really help not be hot, but they sometimes can be very hot. So I usually just use the tool here. Wash that for a little bit. That'll be the Utah juniper poppin'. Mostly run pinion through, but I also brought about half, I think it was half this time, of Utah juniper, which is a cedar. So it smells like cedar, it burns like cedars. Doesn't burn as hot. Produces 3 times as more ash as pinion. Should work on my English sentence structure. The winds died down. We had a storm pass over. Leaving tomorrow. Will be Saturday. Go on, get to the real world. Let's move these pots off so you can hear the fire. If you had a smaller tent, you'd need to get a smaller stove. I've been in smaller tents with this stove and it boils you alive. For a 6-person tent, this is pretty good. Pinnion's my favorite wood to bring up. It's local here in Utah. I did burn hickory one year. Now it burns really hot. That's probably when I was in a smaller tent too. That was. And Pinyon will actually burn. I think hickory burns at 29 million BTUs per cord, and Pinyon burns at 28 million. Burns just like a hardwood, even though it's a softwood. So I burned oak. Was also nice. I never burn regular pine. You have to bring up so much of it. It burns so fast. The cedar, the Utah juniper cedar, it also burns fast, but not as fast, thankfully, or I would never bring it. But if you have hardwoods, just be careful, because you can get these stoves where they're glowing red hot, and that's probably not the best option. That's what the dampers are for. They keep the heat inside the tent, and then you use less wood because it takes longer to burn. And it's just all about what comfort level you want. I've got windows open right now in the tent. They're not full open, but this ice fishing tent has Velcro windows, and so you can Velcro any number combination of up, down, half open, closed. It's really nice. Really happy with this one. And I can stand up. I'm 6'8", can stand up to the top. And I have a place I can stretch my back, walk around. Done being on my hands and knees on campouts. Not 20 anymore. It was fun when I was 20. Just wanted to give what they call it, a shout out. It's an older term. A plug? No, it's even older probably. I don't usually watch YouTube channels. I usually just post this stuff for family. The only channel I really watch is a guy called Bushman and Blue. He's in Scotland. He's fun. He's entertaining to watch. Keeps you motivated to get out into the wild for your mental health. So I highly recommend checking him out. I recommend his channel. That's the proper terminology. Yeah, I try to get people to come up here, but nobody likes negative degree weather. It's not as cold as Alaska, but it can get, with the wind chill, it can get negative 30. You know, or even more than that. Peters Sinks isn't that far away, and that gets minus 69. So it's just a matter of how cold it is and how fast the wind is. And if it's Arctic air, etc., etc. I'm just gonna shut up. You got to be careful with the Winnerwell stoves that have the glass, because most likely it's going to be you that breaks the glass with the poker. Can't really see it because of the lighting right now, but this thing, you move the wood around, the ash scraper, I use it as a poker too, but it's probably a multi-tool. That's how I broke mine. Tapped it, just barely tapped it, and it made a little bit of a ding, and I was like, it's gonna crack right there. Sure enough, a few hours later, the stove was hot, then poof, ping, or whatever sound it made. I can't remember. I'm the worst sound effect guy. And of the windows on this version of the stove, the front window typically remains cleaner. As you noticed before, this one kind of gets clouded. But it still gives a nice ambient fire setting. And for the most part, you can tell there's fire there at the top. I just didn't want to have both glass openings this year because I usually sit over here in this area. If I was to buy it again, I'd probably buy just the side view Winnerwell stove, because wherever the glass is, there's a lot of heat that escapes in the front section and the side section. And so if you're sitting in this area right by this in an enclosed, it's a roomy tent, but man, it just burns your legs. So I don't do that. I just have this side one, and I use the side one to dry socks, clothes, heat up a water bottle. Just the light escaping from the side of the stove will just dry stuff out. So nice. And they have tons of attachments for these stoves. There's a smoker attachment, they've got ovens, they've got, I don't know what else they have, that's probably it, ovens and smokers. Oh, they have a pizza oven now. And they have outside air stove, so if they're in a really cold area and you want to keep all your windows closed, the stove's got a pipe that brings fresh air from the outside directly to the stove and then up and out, so it's not sucking in air from holes in your tent and windows and such. Now, they also have that secondary combustion chamber that would sit just on the top, burn the gases that are still available to burn, and just pump out more heat. So I don't feel like I really need that here in Utah. Coldest I've been, I don't go like Bushman and Blue into any named storm. He'll rush out. Oh, the storm has a name? I'll just go to the top of the mountain and endure. Yeah, so the coldest I think I've experienced has been, I want to say, about -20. No, it's just right after a storm has gone through, like today, but today we really don't have Arctic air on this storm, so as the storm is passing, it was like 16 degrees, and then after the storm, the clear skies just gets cold, so it's dropped to -6. But if you have an Arctic air storm and that happens, then man, it's anything goes. It could be -40, which it's been, but I don't go. If it's gonna be like that, I come up here for enjoyment. So -6, I guess, and -20. I guess those are my enjoyment limits, my thresholds for what I would like to do. So yeah, I'm up at Mirror Lake, just off the Mirror Lake Highway. Snowmobiling about 20 miles, because it's a windy road. And yeah, you get the whole place to yourself. snowmobilers will come through, especially on the weekends. And that's fine, because I don't mind people laying tracks to get out. It's always nice to follow someone else's, I guess, not really hard work, but yeah, it's hard work. Snowmobiling's not easy. Ask anybody that does it. What other advice could I give for the stove? Don't overfeed it. You want the air to be able to flow through. You know, every once in a while you gotta get in here with the scraper. I'm not gonna do it right now, but scrape the excess ash into the bucket, take it outside, douse it in some snow, and that just keeps the stove breathing. And it depends on the weather too. You got to check the spark arrestor at the top. Sometimes it'll get caked, and you'll know it's caked if when you close the door, you should hear a nice, I can't really hear it because of this video, they don't have a nice sound system, but you'll hear the noise of the air going up the chimney. But when it's closed and you got everything right, and if all the dampers are full open and it's burning like it's got full dampers on, that means the spark arrestor is about to clog, and I've had it clog. So it'll be shut like this, and you'll be like, what the heck is going on? And so you'll open all the dampers and like, what the heck? And you'll open this up, the bottom damper, and then it'll clog, and then it'll struggle for air, and then it'll start burping, and it'll burp flames and smoke from these two openings, and it'll shoot out. Just depends on how much wood you got in there, and it'll fill the whole tent with smoke. So that was lesson learned. So I check the spark arrestor about every hour. Just peek my head out the tent, poke my head, peek. I gotta work on my English. Oof. And the other thing, so the spark arrestor is obviously up in the air, and even I'm 6'8", and I can't reach it, and I don't want to wait for the stove to burn down. So I just went and got some cold weather PVC pipe, because regular PVC pipe will get really brittle in the cold. And I just attached the handle into the middle of the pipe and make it however long you want it, and then you can just gently scrape or tap the spark arrestor, and that'll be a lifesaver, because man, when those things clog and you don't have something to clean it with quick, you basically have to take all your wood out of the fire into their ash bucket and take it outside. At least that was my experience. Some other people might have a better option, and if they do, that would be awesome. Well, this wood burns for a long time. That's what we got here. Well, that's a big piece of cedar. Seasoned wood is going to be your friend for these stoves. I think that's what clogs that spark arrestor more than anything, is just unseasoned wood. All the junk in it. Then get yourself some gloves, of course. Yeah. And I always take the guy lines for the chimney, always stake them down, just like I do the tent. Put every guy line available out, because you never know when wind is just gonna roar up. You don't want your chimney pipe falling over. Cedar, as you can tell already, if you can hear it, pops a lot. So if you have a thin wall tent, it'll drop down and burn little holes because it'll pop and send sparks up. But the pinion does not do that. That's why I just love that wood. I burn the cedar here because it's very nostalgic. Grandfather took us logging. We cut both. But as you get older, the woods that split easier are your ones you like. So cedar, man, if it's dry, you can just look at it and it'll split. The pinion is, it is rough to chop. It's twisted, it's gnarly, it does no real groove to find. So you just gotta power through it. I find if you cut it in smaller sections, it's easier to get through. But if you're trying to split like a, I don't know, 13 to 15 inch section, which would fit front to back of this. Well, this is 19, but I don't like going front to back because then the smoke tends to leak out the door. But yeah, you have a hard time chopping that wood unless you got a machine. If you have a machine, yeah, it's easy. Well, anyways, I think that's good for now. I'm gonna shut the door because the cedar it's eventually gonna pop out a huge spark somewhere, and I don't want it to get on my sleep bag or something. So, anyways, I do like this stove. It's Winnerwell double view Nomad large, something like that.